Okay, I'm going to show how to make the snail out of my book. It's considered beginner intermediate. Okay, so it's kind of easy. It has its little questionable areas, okay? And you're going to need your shell color, which I'm going to choose this yarn here. And you're going to need your base color. So I'm choosing that here. It's up to you, but just refer to it as I have in the book. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the body, and what you want to do is get your white or your cream or whatever your body color is, and what it says to do is to knit circularly using your white. You're going to do a drawstring cast on 24 pegs. So go ahead and weave in and out. And again, you can do this on any 24 peg loom, okay? So it doesn't matter, any 24 peg loom will work, right? To try to get as much filming done on this section of the book, I'm using my full range of gauges and 24 pegs to make the animals so that y'all have the videos, and maybe I can get back to working on my farm series, because I find the garden series is actually not too bad of a series. There's only one or two that are kind of hard. Frog and lizard are hard. Everything else is pretty easy, actually. Alright, so we've done our drawstring cast on and we're ready to work. Alright, so rows 1 through 3 is knit. So go ahead and pause the video and knit for 3 rows, and then when we come back we will do the next section. Alright. Okay, so we've knitted our 3 rows and we're on row 4, and what it says to do is to knit 11 and wrap and turn. Okay. So we're going to knit 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then it says to wrap and turn. So you're going to wrap behind the next peg and turn. And work back the other direction. Then it says to knit 10 and wrap and turn. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wrap and turn. Okay. Make sure I've got that correct. I'm going to wrap and turn. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, my wrap and turn. Why is my wrap and turn not showing? Okay. I'm going to show you how to repair something if you've ran into something a little strange. Okay. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11. Alright, so wrap and turn. Alright. Make sure. Wrap and turn. Now you're going to knit 10 and wrap and turn. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, there we go. That's working out what I needed to. All right. Wrap and turn. Okay. Then it says to knit 9, wrap and turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're noticing you're stopping before your last wrap and turn. Wrap and turn. Okay, so then what's next is it says to knit 8 wrap and turn, then knit 7 wrap and turn, knit 6 wrap and turn, knit 6. Alright, and what you've done there is you've decreased down, alright? So basically what you're doing is you're knitting over to just before the last wrap and turn, and then you wrap and turn. And you do this until you're down to 6 single stitches between wraps and turns, okay? So you wrap and turn and you knit over, okay, until you have 6 single stitches in between your wraps and turns, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, continue this process, and when we come back, we'll be ready to do the next step. Okay, so taking a look at your loom, you should have 3 wraps and turns here. See, 1, 2, 3. 6 single stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's where your working yarn should be. Then 2 wraps and turn, 3 wraps and turn, 1, 2, and 3. See that? Okay, so that is your all the way down to wrap and turn knit 6. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to start with the peg you finished with. You're going to knit 6, knit 2 together. All right, and you're going to see another pattern developing here. All right, so you're going to knit 6. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knit 2 together. Okay, then you're going to knit 7, knit 2 together. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, knit 2 together. Okay. Then it says knit 8, knit 2 together, knit 9, knit 2 together, knit 10, knit 2 together, and then it says knit 11, knit 2 together, and then knit 12. So go ahead and pause the video and get to the point where you knit 11, knit 2 together, and I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, so kind of give you an idea of what your area looks like. You've just done a short row section. Okay. So now what you want to do is after you've knitted 2 together, knit 11, knit 2 together, you want to knit 12, which is just knitting yourself back to your starting point. Then at this point it gets easy again, and it's row 5 through 24 you are going to knit, okay? And I will tell you approximately how many rows you'll be doing, okay? And then you will have to do the little lip section that's at the bottom of the body, and I'll show you how to do that on row 25, but you need to know how many rows you approximately need to do for, you need to do 20 rows of knit. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to knit for 20 rows, okay? So go ahead and pause the video and knit for 20 rows, and when we come back, we will start on row 25, which is where you do the lip at the base of the body, okay? Okay, as you can see, here's what you've got so far. Here's what it looks like. Okay. Now, what we're wanting to do at this point is we're going to be working rows 25, and we're working the little lip area that's up under the body. So it's kind of the area where we're working right now, and what we want to do is it says to knit 3, so here's 1, 2, and 3. Then it says to be working a short row section. You'll see the parentheses because I didn't know what to call it. I didn't label it. It's kind of like a little lip area on the bottom of the body. Alright, and so what you're going to do is knit 6 for 4 rows, then knit 5, knit 3, knit 5, knit 4, knit 3, knit 2, knit 3, knit 4, knit 5, knit 6 for 4 rows, and then it says bring original loops back, knit 15. So I didn't specify pegs. When I don't specify pegs, you're going to put one on every single stitch. Okay. So we're working over 6 stitches for this lip area. So here's 1, 2, where'd that go? 3, 4, 5, 6. Now keep in mind, if you don't have stitch markers, go out and buy you a small package of the littler paper clips, and you can use those just as easily, okay, and they work just fine for projects like this. So if you don't have these exact stitch markers and you're still kind of a beginner, go and get you some smaller paper clips, and it's perfect for things like this, okay? So that would be my suggestion. Okay, now what it says to do, it says knit 6 for 4 rows. Okay, so here's row 1, I'm starting with the peg I finished with, row 2, row 3, and row 4. Okay. Then it says to knit 5, starting with the peg we finished with. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it says to knit 6 for 4 rows. So here is row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. Okay, then it says bring your original loops back, and you just find the corresponding stitch markers to the peg. Okay. All right. There you have it. Take those off. And then what it says to do is to knit 15, which basically knits you right back to your starting point. That's all it does. Okay. And take those off. You're going to knit your way around to your starting point. Should be 15. And then you're going to do another large row where you're just knitting round and round and round. Okay. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. Now, then what it says is to knit 3, knit 2 together 6 times, knit 15. Okay. So here's your knit 3. Here's your knit 2 together 6 times. So here's 1. Here is 2. Here is 3. Here is 4. And 5. And 6. And then you knit your 15. Okay. Okay, so you may want to know what the heck you just made. Alright, so pull that out. Kind of stretch them stitches out as best you can. They'll stretch better the further away you get. Okay. because there's that little lip area that shows up at the bottom of the body. Okay. Yeah. What comes next is it says you are to do rows 27 through 46, and that is 20 rows. So you're going to do another 20 rows, and then we'll come back and start on row 47. So go round and round and round for 20 rows knitting, and then we'll come back and do row 47 where we start decreasing and narrowing out that tail area. Okay, so knit for 20 rows, and then we'll come back. All right, pause the video. Okay, I've done my 20 rows, so there's my little lip area. There's my 20 rows done, and now what we're ready to do is our decreasing section. Okay, and this isn't hard as you might think. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to be splitting the loom in half, basically. All right, so I want you to keep that in mind. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to lift up and decrease over. Then you're going to knit the 2 stitches together. Then you're going to knit 10. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to stop here. All right. Then it says to do row 48. You'll see that it says to decrease this direction. Okay. So then you're going to knit the 2 stitches together, and then you're going to knit 9. Okay, which is basically to the end. Okay, then it says on row 49 to decrease. You knit the 2 stitches together, and then knit to the end there. And keep in mind, you're going to be repeating this. You're just going to be repeating this on the other half, where you're decreasing down to a point. All right. So you lift that up, move it over, and decrease the 2 together. You see a pattern developing here, right? And you're going to keep doing this until you are down to no stitches, all right? So then you decrease over here and knit. So you keep doing this patterning until you're down to no stitches, right? And then what you're going to do is, it says to repeat rows 47 through 57 starting on peg 13. And what that means is this is your starting point, this is peg 13. Okay, so here's your starting point, here's peg 13. So when it tells you to start rows 43 through 57, starting with peg 13, this is where you start. All right, And you're just going back and forth, just like this section, down to one or no pegs, okay? And then this is where we're going to work on assembling the body. And I know there's been some questions on this one. I've seen a couple. There's actually a section you're not going to stuff so that it's nice and flat for your shell to come in, okay? So what I'm going to do is tell you to pause the video and complete the rest of the body, okay? And then we will be ready to assemble it, so sew it up and that kind of thing. And then we'll need to go ahead and do the shell. And the shell is pretty easy too. And you may want to buy some rhinestone decorations for your shell and have some fun with that. Because this is a really simple pattern, but it's mostly for fun to create. Okay, so there's nothing real intricate about it. And I feel like I'm fixing to be attacked by the stink bugs. Okay, so pause the video and complete your tail area. Then come back over here, starting over here, and then working your way back and forth, okay, to where you have it just like this one. All right, so pause the video, finish up your body. We'll come back and we'll kind of assemble the body so you have an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so here should be your body. Here's your separate ends, okay. And then here is the little front lip. And here is what would be classified as the back of the head. Okay. So that is what your snail looks like. Okay, when assembling your body, it's going to be kind of weird than normal because you're going to have a section that's not going to be stuffed. So what you want to do is tie off the two tip ends. You're going to sew down one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go in and sew a line directly across from one side to the other, okay? And then what you're going to do once you do that, you're going to stuff through here, and then you're going to sew up the other side. And what that's going to do is give you a puffy tail. The reason why you want the center flat with no stuffing in it is so that your shell can sit in there really smoothly. Okay, so just sew on over. And when you see the image in the book, that's what it should look like. There's a flat section. And seeing the video, and it'll make it easier to understand how to put this together. Okay, so leave that tail there so that you can kind of tie it off and then stuff it through the body. So you want to take a little stuffing. Shouldn't take much. Put it in there. You don't want a whole lot, so don't overstuff it. It's not necessary. And then what you want to do is sew up the side. Okay. So you're going to sew that up, and then you can go in and kind of puff out the side. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to do the same kind of seaming that you did here, right across that lip. All right, right under it. Go ahead and do another seam. All right. Then you'll be ready to stuff the whole body. So it should be flat through here. You stuff the whole body, and then you can be ready to start shaping the head. Okay. So that's how you finish the snail body. And what you want to do when you start on the actual shell, it's easy, drawstring cast on just like we did for the start of the body. And what it says to do is to knit for 3 rows. So you're just going to go and knit round and round for 3 rows. The shell is pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing really special about it. Just go ahead and pause the video, knit for 3 rows, and we'll come back and I'll show you what row 4 is. Okay, I've done my 3 rows of knit, and then for row 4 it says to purl a row. This pattern on the shell is actually really easy to follow. Okay, so you're going to do a single row of purl, right? Then you're going to do 4 rows of knit, and then 1 row of purl, 4 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 3 rows of knit. Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and purl around. I'm going to tell you to pause the video. So what you want to do 1 row of purl here. So you had that. So we've done 3 rows of knit, 1 row of purl. What you want to do now is 3 rows of knit, 4 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 4 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 3 rows of knit. Come back, finish up the shell. Alright, so that's what you want to do. Also, if you were messing with the body, this is what it should look like, and there'll be finishing touches on the head that we'll need to do. Okay, alright, so go ahead, pause the video, finish up your shell. Okay, so finish the row of purl, 4 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 4 rows of knit, 1 row of purl, 3 rows of knit. We come back and we finish up the shell. Okay, so pause the video and get that much done. Okay, so I've done there's my knit 3 rows, there's purl, and then there's knit 4, and then purl, and then knit 4, and then purl, and then your knit 3. Okay, so now we are ready to work our loom, work off the loom. And what it says on the snail is to do a prep decrease. So you knit pegs 1 and 2, take it back, and toss over. Alright, then you knit the next 2, take it back, toss over, and then move over 1. Okay, you're going to do this all the way around. Knit 2, take it back 1, toss the bottom loop over, and move to the next one. Alright, so pause the video, get your prep decrease done, which means you should have 12 stitches left, okay? Okay, so as you can see, every other peg is empty, and now what you want to do is you want to draw a string off, so you toss that bottom loop over and pull your yarn through. So you're going to draw a string bind off, alright? And then once you do that, you're going to go ahead and close off the drawstring on this side and close it most of the way on the other side and stuff it, okay? And then finish closing it on the other side after you stuff it. Then we'll be ready to go in and assemble and finish up the final touches on our snail. Okay. And you'll see how this is a fairly easy pattern. Okay. So at this point, you're going to get your snail shell stuffed, right? And I suggest you just go ahead and close off this side, right? So go ahead and close off this side, and then you can go in and work on closing up this side, but you want to go ahead and stuff as much as possible, then close it up, okay? And then we'll be ready to work on sewing it onto the actual snail. So what you'll find on the snail that'll make it easy is your purl line. It's the line you're going to follow to sew the snail shell on. So go ahead, pause the video, stuff your shell and that kind of thing, and then we'll be ready to finish up doing the finishing touches where we do the antenna, we cinch the eye area, we add eyes, we get the head more defined, sewing on the, so it's going to be more assembling. Now when it comes to the antennas, you can choose to do a chain with a single crochet if you are comfortable in crocheting and you think that it would be faster, or you can do the method that I have written out in my book. Okay, and what it says here on the antenna is to knit 2 pegs for 20 rows and then bind off. So we can do that fairly quickly. I'm going to do a colored antenna for the fun of it. Okay, to add a little splash of color to the top. In the actual pattern I did it in white. Okay. Okay, on the antenna what it says to do is you can just E-wrap, cast on 2 pegs. I didn't really give us classified cast on. But you work flat and you just simply knit for 20 rows. Okay, so there is row 1, row 2, row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. Alright, and then you're just going to bind off whichever way. You just keep going for 20 rows, and then you're just going to bind off, drawstring, bind off, whatever bind off you prefer, and that's your antenna. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, get your shell stuffed and ready, and get your antenna made, and then we're going to be ready to go in and finish up the final touches of the snail. Okay, so as we can see, I have my shell done. Okay, and I have my little antenna. Alright, so I am ready to start assembling my little snail here. Alright, so what I've done on the back of the head is I haven't actually particularly drawstrung it. I drawstrung it down the most I could, and then I just sewed it up. Okay, as you can see. Now, what I like to do for my little antennas is to go in and sew around that area. Okay. Several times. I find the sewing part of this is difficult with the camera. Okay, so send it through several different times. All right. And then when you feel like you've got it in there, you're going to take advantage of this extra and you're going to do a cinching of the eyes, okay? So I'm going to send it through. Now, here's the trick with the eyes, is you'll have almost a kind of hole area here on both sides. Do the short row. I'll try to get that in the camera. I'll lift this up a little bit. Okay. So you have these areas right here that, let's see if I can get it to focus in. Okay, you have these kind of hole areas here, and what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to use those as your guide to your eyes, okay? And trust me, that is the best guide to the eyes. So I'm going to send this back through the back end of the head, and I'm going to go over here where the little hole area is, okay? And then I'm going to take and I'm going to send it through directly to the other side, just like that. And I'm going to pull it and then send it through back to the other side and pull it. And what that does is it cinches in the head. Okay. Now, where you have your little eye socket areas, and I personally like to glue in my eyes, but if you want to add safety eyes, you are more than welcome to add safety eyes, but you need to do it before you do any of this. And you do a similar concept when you have safety eyes in, but you need to go above and below to cinch in the eye area. Okay, so I'm going to be gluing in, hot gluing in. You can sew buttons in, whatever you want to do for your eye area here. Okay, now I'm going to go in to the back of the head and go down to about, I don't know, about an inch. Okay, and I'll pull that through. Alright, now what I want to do is kind of go in and I want to cinch in that area around the head. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go in and do some weaving to create a head area. Okay, and I'm trying to use as much of this extra as I can to utilize it. Okay, so I'm just going to go in, go a few, send it out, send it back in, go a few, send it out, send it back in. I'm just going to go all the way around and do this, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it in. Okay, and what that's going to do is create more of a head area. All right. And if you want to go lower than that, you can. You can go more here if you'd like. But all we're trying to do right now is cinch it in a little bit. Okay? Now you can go in and you can tie a thing around it if you'd like. But I try to have things not show up so obvious. So I pull it as tight as I can. Alright? And I'm about to the back end here. And because that's cinching in more, what you want to do is go in with a crochet hook and shove some of that polyfill more up into the head area. Okay, and then you can try pulling it again and creating a little head. Okay, so you got your little head and you get your little eyes in there. All right, and then what you got to do is you got to tie it on. There's a little antenna. All right. So what I'm going to do is tie it off. What I like to do is pull this through as much as possible, then send it and wrap it twice and pull through. Okay. And what you can do is just go ahead and crochet hook and pull this through. Got the extra. Okay. So you have your little antennas going on here and your little head, and you're going to have your little eyes, and that's going to work. Okay, next, what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to sew. You want to follow the purl line in your edge from here up. Okay, so that's where you want to do. You want to be able to follow that line and up. Okay. And that's what's going to cause the body to be able to lift up. Okay. So I'm going to start back here on the very edge, and what I might suggest is you find a column and you continue to follow it along with the purled line. Okay. So go to your seam line here. All right. And I'm going to leave me a tail so I can weave it in easier. Right. So try that. Okay, so what I want to do is send it through that purled area right there. You'll find that'll make it a heck of a lot easier to sew it on. Then you want to just go ahead and find the same column and sew on the next one. And you want to do this all the way up to however much you want the body to stick up, but I find that you usually go about here with it, okay, so that you aren't going up too high. You get a little bit of that front lip. You get the general idea of where you want your edging to be, okay. You'll get the hang of it, how you want it, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and sew it up, following that column and my purl line. That is the benefit of that purl line, is that you can just give yourself a guideline and it keeps it even, it keeps it clean. And if you want your snail shell to be a little bit more fancy, you can add rhinestones, you can add all kinds of really cute stuff to it, okay? Okay. Getting about there on this side. you can go in and start trying to do guesstimate work through here. So this isn't quite as exact science as the bottom half. Right. Go as far as you want it to go, about there. Okay. When you get it as far as you want it here, you're going to go in and you're going to send it through the other side of the body. Okay. Then you're going to find, and you're going to start doing the same thing over here. We're going to start sewing. I want it back another notch, so I'm just going to go ahead and send it back. All right. So then what I'm going to do is start sending it through, and I'm done here. There, okay. Try not to snag the yarn like I just did. Okay. So what you want to do is just kind of follow down and finish up. Okay. Okay, once you get back here, it's up to you if you want to go in and connect this back area. You want to kind of just go in and weave it. So let's say you want to weave it in so that it connects more, or you just kind of weave the needle in and out. You can kind of connect it. That way it'll stay put. Okay. So you'll see it seems to sit a little better. Okay. To get it back where you started. All right. And there you have more of your shaping. All right, and so since I'm back to where I'm at right now, I'm going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to take my crochet hook and slide that in. Okay. So I'm going to take my crochet hook, pull it up as close as possible, and pull it in. Okay, any extra. Okay. So, short from adding the eyes and everything, there is my snail. I'm going to add an eyeball on both sides. I'm going to add a nice big black eyeball. And there is my snail, as you can see. Okay, so that's a pretty simple pattern, but that is how you do the snail. And there you have it.